Hello, my name is Brian Gielbach and I will be a guest commentator in this video for Dweebovision. I am a North American Scrabble expert and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game and be fun to watch. I will be playing this game with the North American Tournament word list and the double challenge rule, in which a lost challenge results in a loss of turn. The game is just about to start, so let's join the action. Alright, it's me to go first. I have a lot of high point tiles. I have a Z, which is good for scoring, and a V. Now, I could play off the Z right now, maybe making za, but then I'm keeping U and the V together. Can I play off those instead? I could play vid. And if I play it in the right spot, vid takes a front A hook, but then I don't think I can take advantage of the Z doing that. But I do like the idea of playing vid, keeping the Z with the A. Alright. Now I pick up another U, which is a problem. If there's an E to play through, I'd have the animal zebu. I maybe should have played off the Z right away. In my last game, I didn't play off the Z for a while when I could have got some good points for it. Now, gifter. One who gifts. I don't think I like that play. Gifter. That sounds wrong to me. I'm going to challenge that. Alright, so I get a free turn, so that's good. Now I could use the Z and make avid. Or I could use this opportunity to get rid of some of these U's. I have two U's now. Not so good. Could play za or azo. Neither of those gets rid of a U, though. Now, if I wanted to play, where can the U's even go? I don't have any good places for the U's. Well, maybe I'll play azo and see what else I pick, and I may end up exchanging on my next turn. Now this takes a back N though, but my opponent probably does not have an N, so I'm not worried about that. Alright. Now I could play dumb. Or yum. Either one of those would play in row E. Alright, grift is a valid word. Now, I'm trying to figure out what I can do with these U's. Alright, baud is a word, or daub. I'm not seeing a good way to play that word. I could play that going down here. And that takes, well, daub takes a back Y. So then I'm remaining with yum, which is a word at least. I don't know how good of a leave it is, but that gives me a possibility. Although DI is not a valid word, not in the North American dictionary, so that would be a bad play. Could do it here. None of these are scoring very many points, but I'm just trying to get rid of at least one U here. Maybe I should use the Y immediately. That does restrict this bingo lane somewhat. That's probably a good option. Alright, probably not the highest scoring play, but I'm just looking to clean this up. Now, if I had an R to play through, I'd have warmouth, which I believe is a kind of fish. Now, the H is a good scoring tile. I, again, have lots of high point tiles. That's been the theme of this game so far for me. Now, just looking at where some of these letters fit. An O would fit here. An A or a U would fit here. H-A-U-T, I don't believe is a word without a back E. That needs a back E, so that doesn't fit. Looking at under here, if I could put an H or an M here and get across to the triple word square, that would be an excellent play. Not seeing how to do that. Well, let's just put some letters in here and see what we can do. M, then I could put an A or an O here. Well, I could play moat. That would be 43 points. That's a good score. All right, that stays available. That's good. Now, if I put an H here, what could I do? H-O... H-A... Okay, I think moat is the best play. 43 points. Good. Leaving H-U-W, which is a terrible leave, but 43 points is good. Now, I draw a Q to go with that U. So now the U is a tile that I am welcoming rather than wanting to get rid of right away. Quay is a valid word. Q-U-E-Y. Does that play anywhere? Not that I can see. Now, the Q goes here making QI, but then UD is not a valid word, so I can't make a play going perpendicular. Looking at EF, I don't believe anything goes in front of EF. OR. There are some things that go in front of OR, but none of these tiles that I have do so. I have about a 50-point lead. All right, my opponent... Oh, DEF, of course. I wasn't considering the D hook. I didn't have a D, though, so I didn't miss anything. All right, well, that's a good parallel play by my opponent. 33 points for that. So I'm going to look to just score here. This is a little bit blocked up. Now, I want to keep the Q and the U together. I didn't see a way to make a good play with the Q right now. Keeping it with the U is I don't need to dump it immediately. Well, I need to keep getting rid of high point tiles. I have too many of them, which I have really the whole game. Now, I could play something like hey or Hugh. Would I rather keep the Y or the W here? Probably I want to use the W. Now this does take a back N though. But I prefer keeping the Y, I think. Either one would fit here. W and H fit here. If I had an O or an A, I'd have a high-scoring play here. So maybe I want to keep that. The advantage here is this doesn't take a back hook. HI takes some front hooks. An H would go here, but I'm using... Oh, I have another H. All right, I like this play. All right, I didn't pull an A or an O to make a good scoring play here. But CHEQUED, I believe that's valid. Or check, no, I think that's only a noun in that spelling, so that would not be a valid play. Now, I identified the H here. A C fits here. Chew for 35 points. All right, well, I hope that stays available. A C also fits here in front of HI. Now, I was looking at Quay before. That would be 18 points, keeping all consonants, not a good leave. Alright, so I'm hoping chew stays available. If it doesn't, what else am I going to do? I could do chewy for 24, not nearly as high of a score. I keep looking up in this area, but this is very blocked. This is not even, there's not going to be many play possibilities in this area, so I'm going to stop looking up there. I'm just wasting my time every time I look up here, which I'm doing right now, so I'm going to stop doing that. Alright, I'm doing fairly okay on time. Okay, unfortunately, that blocks my lovely chew location. But it opens up another spot for chew. 31 points. That's not a bad score. Still keeping the Q and the U together. I must have stopped looking for high-scoring Q plays. This tends to be sometimes a weakness. I don't look for the high-scoring premium tile plays, but I think in this case I don't see one off the bat. I like chew for 31 points. Okay, well, cliques, if I have can make the blank as an S if I can find a spot to play it. This is a very blocked up board. This might be what my opponent, who's lower rated than myself, is going for. Trying to keep it really blocked up so I cannot get a lot of bingos. Now, I must look for other bingo opportunities. Hey, I don't believe. All right. Well, now, clickiest. That is a 9, so that's not going to be playable through the S. Now I feel like I should be able to play something to this S, although maybe I can't. Alright, I'm going to cycle through and see if I can come up with something here. Alright. I'm considering using the S, so in all of these permutations, I'm considering an S being on the rack. I'd have coquille through an O. Cliquey. Again, I don't have a spot for that. I'm really forced into, by the geometry of this board, to play through a letter using a floater in order to get a bingo, and I'm not seeing how to do that here. Now, I could just play, see, I'm focused on finding a bingo, but I don't need to do that. I could play cliques for 57 and leaving just a blank. That's probably even better than finding a bingo, because I'm likely to get another bingo with the blank, and 57 points is a good score. Now, can I instead get the Q? I wonder if I could get the Q on a double letter square. Well, probably not without using the blank. If I did something like Quicks, that's 78 points, leaving EL. But I think Cliques is better. That was 57, right? It's 21 points fewer, but I'm keeping the blank, which is a great tile. Well, I could continue looking for a bingo, but I like cliques. I'm going to go with this. Keeping the blank, going for another immediate bingo following this. All right, so I have anxious, ANXIOUS, that plays in column 4. Now, let's look for other bingo opportunities. I have a bunch of floaters to consider. All right, anxious stays available. That would be 84 points, is a good score. That's a double word score. The only way I'm going to score a lot more than that is if I can make a play getting an X on a premium and doubling. All right, I'm just going to really, very quickly here go through this. I don't know, is it worth my time to even do that? I'm down to 8 minutes. There's still 30 tiles left. Do I have a triple from the T? That does not look promising. I think I'm going to go with anxious quickly to conserve some time. 84 points is a good score. And let's conserve some time. All right. Now I have duplicated O, duplicated N. Looking at the floaters on this board, there's a T, there's an N, and an E, and a D. So considering those different floaters, I'm not seeing a 7-letter bingo on this rack. How about denotion? Denotion, I think, is good. Or is that the anagram of a valid word? That seems to give an alarm in my brain as though that might not be the right word. But if it's not denotion, what is it? It's not denotion. The valid word is noontide. And I think I've guessed denotion in my studying several times. And that's why that alarm goes off in my head, which is a good thing, saying something is not right with this potential word. So noontide does not play. All right, but at least I know I can stop considering that D now. That does not have any anagrams. Another N does not look promising to make anything. Maybe something non, but I'm not seeing anything there. Another E does not look promising. Another T, duplicating yet a 3rd letter, also does not look promising. So I don't believe there's any bingos. What else can I do on this board? Just looking at this, making sure there's no front extensions to cliques. I don't think there is. That would be a very high scoring play if there were a extension there. All right, I have about a 100-point lead, which is good. I have 8 minutes remaining on the clock with 25 tiles left in the bag. All right, so what would I do here to clean up this rack as quickly as possible? Obviously getting rid of the O, an O and an N, since those are duplicated. That would leave me with E-I-N-O-T, which would be a little bit vowel heavy, so maybe getting rid of yet another O would be a good idea. N-O-O. Where could those be played? Well, ono is a word, also new. Looking for spots where I could play those for some reasonable points. Now, all right, my opponent plays Mew. Just looking here to see if that gives me some scoring chances. Well, an N doesn't fit here, but a T does. And I could play ton or tune or toony. Now, the disadvantage here is I'm opening up the top row, but the advantage is I'm using a lot of tiles, and that's going to expedite the end of the game. Now, 30 points is a pretty good score. I'd have about a 100-point lead. Even if my opponent bingos here, I still would have a lead. This is pretty non-defensive, though. This is a little bit of a dangerous square net if my opponent could reach here and put a high-scoring tile here. That could be dangerous. A J would fit there, so that's maybe not a great option. Although 30 points is nothing to sneeze at. Now, I could play noon for 12 points, leaving the excellent rack lead of Tyne, and this is not a dangerous placement. I'm sacrificing about 20 points, but I'm not giving my opponent a great counterplay, though. I tend to like this a little bit better. And I am taking out this triple so my opponent can't use it, so that's another plus for this play. So I'm going with this one. And that looks pretty bingo-y. Now, I don't see a 7-letter bingo. Do I have one through a floater? A T would duplicate a T. All of the floaters available that I can see duplicate ones I have, although this O does not duplicate anything. But I don't see a bingo with that. Or do I? I think I might. How about pointier? Pointier is a valid word. All right, and this does not open up another spot for a bingo, and I'm not believing there's going to be anything other than pointier, and that's going to score 74 points, which is fine. Oops, I don't want to resign, that's for sure. All right, and parasol. So I have parasol if I can find a space for that. All right, 6 minutes remaining, 9 tiles left. I'm in good time shape at this point. Now, Psoralea. If I had an E to play through in the correct position, I'd have the 8-letter play Psoralea, which I believe is some sort of bad medical conditions. Most of those medical condition words are bad things. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a name for it probably. All right. Now, there's also an N to consider. not seeing a play through an N, a bingo play. I don't believe Soralia has an anagram, so how about the T? Alright, Tinkler is a valid play by my opponent. That restricts bingo lanes, so at this point I'm not going to really keep looking for a lot of bingos. Now, Tinkler, just trying to think if that's good. I'm pretty sure that is good. That sounds correct to me. Now, this takes up back S. I wonder if I could make a play hooking Tinkler, making the plural, and making a play here. Now, another high-scoring possibility is here. If I could put a P here, how about Pro, which is a kind of boat. 38 points is a good score. Now, I mustn't miss this spot up here. Here's another high-scoring spot for a P. An A, 39 points. Even better. And a J could go there. If my opponent has the J, I'm blocking a high-scoring spot for my opponent's J. So I like this. I'm going with this play. And I pull the J. So unfortunately, I made what I think was a good strategic move, blocking that spot, because my opponent was likely to have the J. That happens sometimes. It could be frustrating, but if you feel like you made the right move, you can take satisfaction in that you made the right play probabilistically, even if it didn't turn out to your benefit with what you actually drew. Now, an S also fits here. I could play Jarls. That would be 49 points. I hope that stays open. Now, what else could I do with the J if that spot is blocked? I could set up a J spot here. This would be kind of tricky if I did something with an O here and then trying to set up a high-scoring J spot here. But my opponent is likely to be able to use that spot. An R, a T, and a V all go in front of OE, so that's not really a good setup opportunity. What else could I do with the J? Well, I could just play Joe immediately. That's only going to score 26 points. Still looking at this spot, but I don't see how I can put a J here and the S here and hit the double. Where else can the J be played? Well, I saw Joe for 26 points. That's not bad. My opponent is not going to be able to use this S spot. I don't think he's going to be able to block it either. So I think Jarls is going to play. All right. Newer is good. Pan. Just looking here, making sure I don't have any extensions to the triple. Something like Pan Jarls. That's not a word. I like Jarls just fine. 49 points. Leaving 0-0. And that is going to be what I'm remaining with. That would play out here for Lou. 2. Where else could it play? 2 up here. I don't believe that's going to be blocked, so Jarls is fine. I could play the O's first, knowing that Jarls is probably not going to be blocked. But do I want to take that chance? Obeya. I don't think that's good with I. I wonder, can my opponent even possibly block that spot? I don't see how I can get over there. No. So maybe I want to figure out how to play the O's first. Where will the O's play for maximum points? I have many spots to play it in, so I'm not worried about getting the maximum amount of points out of this situation. I want to make sure I get Jarls right now. 49. I don't think it could be blocked, but if it were to be blocked, I would feel rather silly. So I'm just taking the points for that right now. And I have 0-0, so I'll just look to score as many points as I can with 0-0. And Lou looks fine. 2 looks fine. This is fine. Might not be the highest scoring, but I'm looking to end this game right now. I could do oh no. That's a better play for 9 points. And that's the end of the game. I'll tell my opponent thank you for the game as soon as he passes to formally end the game. And sometimes it's easy to not realize your opponent has played out and you're still looking for a move, and then as soon as you try to make it on the board, it says you can't make a move because there are no more tiles remaining on your opponent's rack. So that might be what's happening here. If my opponent does not pass in the next 30 seconds or so, I'll pause the game until he does end the game. All right, I believe I will pause the game while I'm waiting for my opponent to end the game. All right, my opponent ended the game, and as soon as my opponent ended the game, they logged out, so we're maybe not satisfied with the outcome of that game. In any case, the score is 292 points for my opponent, 472 points for me, a winning margin of 180 points. Let's examine the game and see what we missed. All right. No phonies played. That's good. And why is this not in... Oh, I see. The game is not over yet. My opponent has lost contact. So the game is... I have to wait 3 minutes for the game to be adjudicated. All right. So I'm going to pause again and see what happens. I'll be right back. Actually, I've already won the game, so I'm going to shorten this process by typing adjourn. If I want to cancel the process, type adjourned. I should have just waited 3 minutes. Now the game is not going to be adjourned, and that's well, that's unfortunate. Let's see, if I do it again, will I resume the adjourn process? Oh dear. Now I don't believe that I can analyze the game, can I? No, I can't. Well, that was a mistake, and I misread the instructions here. If I had just waited a little while longer, I could have had the game adjudicated. And now I'm going to have to wait for my opponent to come back to see the result of this game. Well, now I can't really analyze the game, unfortunately, which I normally wanted to do. So I guess I'm just going to end this video right now. Well, in any case, I hope you enjoyed watching the game. I had, I believe, 4 bingos, 3 or 4 bingos, so it was a satisfying, high-scoring game. Would be nice to see what we missed, but that'll maybe have to wait until a follow-up video. Anyway, thank you for watching the game. My name is Brian Galebach, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.